What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Let's get into it, man. So the Chicago Bulls were back on Thursday, and it's been a long layoff. We haven't seen a Chicago Bull do anything basketball related in a long time now. Nobody played anything at the All-Star weekend. Nobody was involved at all on the team. We didn't have anybody in the rookie-sophomore game, or what do they call it now, the Rising Stars contest, some bullshit like that. Nobody there. Didn't have anybody in the three-point contest, no one in the skills contest, no one in the dunk contest. Didn't have anybody in the All-Star game. We have not seen a Chicago Bull do any basketball activities in well over a week now. And we're going to see, we're going to see what this team is really made of when they come back on Thursday. What have they been doing for the last week or so? Have they just been fucking around? That's a high possibility. Have they been coming together and strategizing new ways to maximize each other's strengths, new ways to really take advantage of the talent that's on the roster for these final 27 games and make this playoff push? I sure as hell hope so, because we're getting into the nitty gritty now. Teams aren't fucking around for these last 27 games. Teams are really making their push. Teams are really throwing their hat into the ring. They're really going for it now. So the Chicago Bulls, man, they can't be caught slipping. They can't be caught sleeping. They got to come out. They got to come out ready to attack. The Boston Celtics, that's a tough matchup coming off of the All-Star break. That's a really tough matchup. They're the best team in the league this year. They're, 8 deep of solid dudes. I liked what they did at the trade deadline, getting Xavier Tillman. So it's a tough matchup for the Chicago Bulls. It's kind of a litmus test for the Chicago Bulls. You stood pat at the trade deadline. You said you wanted to be competitive. Part of being competitive is being able to keep pace with the best teams in the NBA. So for the Bulls' sake, I really hope that they spent the last week or so just really coming together, really fine-tuning their games, really working on their craft, and really making a push these last 27 games here. Can the Bulls catch up to the top 6 and try to get in the playoffs? Hell no. Not only would that require the Bulls to win like 75% of these last 27 games at a minimum, it would require one of those top 6 teams to just tank the end of this year for the Bulls to catch them. The most likely culprit is maybe the Philadelphia 76ers, because we don't know Joel Embiid's timeline yet. But the rest of that roster is too good to truly tank like that. If Tyrese Maxey is even 75% of the player he is being hyped to be this year, he should be able to carry that team to at least a 60% win rate without Joel Embiid. So the Chicago Bulls, the chances of them getting in the actual playoffs, very low. They are pretty much locked into that play-in spot. I think that's part of the reason you saw the Nets fire Jacques Vaughn. I don't know why they didn't do that before the trade deadline and then move some pieces out at the trade deadline to really maximize a return and start this rebuild, because the firing of Jacques Vaughn kind of signals that they're throwing in the towel on this season. But the Bulls, man, we're locked into that play-in spot. So we can still come out. We can finish this year strong. We need these final 27 games. We need to win at least 15 of them, head into the play-in games with some momentum here, really take it to the Hawks in that first play-in game, and then we're going to have a tough test either against the Magic or the Heat in that second play-in game to go ahead and try to make this playoff push. So Thursday night is going to tell us a lot about this Chicago Bulls team and how they spent this last week off. I'm all for resting the guys, letting their bodies heal up. Kobe was looking pretty tired those last couple of games there, but at the same time, man, if you've just been spending the last week or so just fucking around, that's not competitive behavior, and that's not what we were promised as Bulls fans at that press conference after the trade deadline when they stood pat. They said they stood pat to be competitive. Well, if you guys are going to be competitive, you better have been being competitive during this time off. So Bulls are back Thursday against the Celtics. Should be a pretty good game. If you guys have not checked out the latest podcast, I dropped it on Sunday, I believe, and it was just 5 questions the Chicago Bulls have to answer this last 27 games of the year. So check that out. If you're not subscribing, hit that subscribe button here. Follow on all the social medias, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, @HornsBloody. Throw me a follow. Let's talk hoops. Take it easy, guys. Let's go Bulls.